She didn't say a word, but the way she hugged you told a story your mind can't ignore. And if you felt something shift inside your chest, that wasn't imagination. That was information. Let me slow this down for you, because most men miss what their nervous system already understood. A hug is not a polite gesture. It's not random. It's one of the most honest moments a woman gives you, because her body speaks before her filters wake up. When she hugs you a certain way, she is revealing her level of safety, attraction, and emotional openness, without even realizing she's doing it. As a psychologist, I'll tell you something uncomfortable. Words are curated, bodies are not. A woman can tell you she's fine, busy, or confused, but her hug will betray the truth. The pressure, the duration, where her head rests, what her hands do, these are not accidents. They are signals wired into her biology. If she leans her upper body into you first, not just her arms, that's a sign of trust. Her nervous system is allowing proximity to your chest, your heartbeat, your scent. That means she feels emotionally regulated around you. In her mind, you are not a threat. You are a stabilizer. Men underestimate how rare that is. Most men never create that feeling. Now pay attention to this. If she exhales deeply while hugging you, especially if her shoulders drop, that's not romance, that's relief. Relief means her body feels safe enough to let go. She's been holding tension all day, maybe all week, and in that moment, you became the place where her guard could rest. That is intimacy before attraction even speaks. But here's where men get it wrong. They rush to label this as love, desire, or commitment. Slow down. A hug reveals emotional positioning, not future promises. It tells you where you stand right now, not where the relationship is guaranteed to go. Strength is being able to read the signal without clinging to it. If she lingers, not because she forgot to let go, but because her body chose to stay. That's her subconscious testing emotional closeness. She's asking herself, how does this feel? And if she tightens slightly before releasing, that's often hesitation mixed with attachment. She wants closeness, but she's measuring the consequences. And if you felt calm instead of excited, grounded instead of anxious, that's important too. That means the connection wasn't about chasing or proving. It was mutual regulation, two nervous systems syncing. That's the foundation of real attraction, not the chaos most men confuse for passion. This is why I tell men to stop obsessing over text messages and start paying attention to physical moments. A hug bypasses ego. It bypasses social performance. It reveals whether she associates you with safety, comfort, and presence, or obligation and politeness. Here's the quiet truth most men never hear. When a woman hugs you with her full body and relaxes into it, she's not just touching you. She's allowing you into her emotional space, and that space is protected. Not everyone gets access. The question isn't whether the hug meant something. The question is, did you show up as the kind of man her body could trust? Now let me take you deeper, because not all hugs are created equal, and some of them are warnings disguised as warmth. This is where men who don't understand female psychology confuse politeness for intimacy and end up emotionally blindsided. If her arms wrap around your shoulders but her lower body stays back, that's distance management. Her mind agreed to the hug, but her body kept an exit. This isn't cruelty, it's self-protection. She's comfortable with you socially, but not surrendering emotionally. And if you've been investing heavily while receiving this kind of hug repeatedly, your nervous system already knows something your ego keeps denying. Pay attention to her hands. Hands are truth tellers. If her hands are open, relaxed, resting flat against your back, she's present. If her hands are stiff, barely touching or patting quickly, that's a social hug. That's her saying, I acknowledge you, not I feel you. Many men mistake access for affection. They are not the same. Here's a critical detail almost no one talks about, where her head goes. If she rests her head near your chest or collarbone, she's unconsciously seeking regulation. The chest is associated with protection and emotional grounding. This is primal. It's not something she plans. It's something her nervous system chooses. But if her head stays upright or turns away, she's keeping emotional awareness active. She's not letting herself soften. And then there's the release. If she pulls away slowly and looks at you immediately after, she's checking emotional impact. She's gauging your presence. Your reaction matters here. Men who rush to speak, joke, or escalate break the moment. Men who stay grounded allow her to feel the weight of what just happened. Silence, when calm, is powerful. Now listen carefully. This will save you years of confusion. A deep, connected hug does not mean she's ready for commitment. It means she associates you with emotional safety. Attraction can grow from that, but only if you don't contaminate it with neediness, pressure, or interpretation. This is where self-mastery matters. If you walk away from that hug needing validation, replaying it, attaching fantasy to it, she will feel the shift next time. Women are exquisitely sensitive to changes in emotional posture. When your energy goes from grounded to hungry, her body notices and pulls back. But if you remain centered, if you let the hug be what it was without demanding it become more, something interesting happens. Her nervous system relaxes further around you over time. Safety compounds. And attraction rooted in safety is far more stable than attraction rooted in anxiety. Let me say something most men have never been told. The strongest position you can be in with a woman is not trying to extract meaning from her behavior. It's being able to receive it without attachment. When you don't rush to define, label, or chase the moment, you allow her to come toward you naturally. A woman doesn't open emotionally because a man wants her to. She opens because her body feels undisturbed in his presence. Your job isn't to decode her every move. It's to become the kind of man whose presence doesn't create tension. So if a woman hugs you and you feel calm, grounded, steady, pay attention to that. That's feedback about who you are becoming, not just how she feels about you. Because in the end, the hug isn't the message, your emotional stability is. Here's where things quietly fall apart for most men. Not because the hug didn't mean something, but because they betrayed the moment without realizing it. The real test doesn't happen during the hug. It happens in the hours and days after. When a woman experiences emotional safety with you, her subconscious opens a door. It's small, but it's real. And the moment you start chasing reassurance, over-communicating, or changing your behavior to secure what you felt, that door begins to close. Not because she's cruel, but because safety turned into pressure. Men are taught to pursue harder when something feels good. Female psychology works in the opposite direction. The more natural and undisturbed the connection feels, the more her nervous system stays open. The moment she feels responsible for your emotional state, attraction erodes. This is why sending a "did that hug mean anything?" energy, even without words, is destructive. Women don't respond to questions like that with logic. They respond with instinct, and instinct pulls away from need. Another detail most men overlook is consistency. If you were calm, present, and grounded before the hug, and suddenly more eager, more available, more reactive after it, she feels the shift immediately. Her body asks, "What changed?" And when the answer is emotional dependence, her system protects itself. Now here's the deeper truth. A connected hug often awakens something in her too. But women process emotion internally before they express it. She may need distance not because she lost interest, but because she's integrating the feeling. Men who panic during this phase sabotage themselves. Silence, when paired with confidence, creates space for reflection. Space allows desire to breathe. Pressure suffocates it. Let me explain something essential. Emotional attraction grows when a woman feels free, not pursued. If your presence feels optional rather than demanding, her curiosity increases. She begins to wonder, not because you disappeared, but because you remained steady. There's also a biological layer here. When a woman hugs someone she feels safe with, oxytocin is released. That hormone deepens bonding, but only when the environment remains non-threatening. Neediness triggers cortisol, the stress hormone, which counteracts bonding. Your behavior after the hug determines which chemical wins. This is why restraint is not weakness. It's emotional intelligence. You don't need to withdraw dramatically. You don't need to play games. You simply continue being the same centered man you were when her body relaxed in your arms. And here's something most men won't like hearing, but it's necessary. If the hug was deeply connected and she still pulls away over time, that's not a failure. That's information. It means she felt something but couldn't meet it. And that has nothing to do with your worth. Strong men don't chase moments. They let moments reveal alignment. The power move is not to interpret the hug as a promise. The power move is to let it stand as an experience, complete, honest, and free. When you do that, you communicate emotional maturity without saying a word. Women don't fall for men who read signals perfectly. They fall for men who don't collapse under them. Now let me give you the truth that ties everything together, the part most men never confront. A hug like that isn't asking you to chase. It isn't asking you to define the relationship. It's asking one quiet question. Can you remain the same man after intimacy as you were before it? Because consistency is safety, emotional steadiness is rare, and when a woman relaxes into your arms, she's not testing your strength, she's testing your nervous system. If you leave that moment and begin to overthink, overtext, overinvest, or mentally rewrite the future, you break the spell. Not because you felt something, but because you stopped trusting yourself. Women don't pull away from connection, they pull away from instability. Here's the mentor truth. The most attractive thing you can do after a meaningful hug is nothing different. You don't escalate emotionally, you don't retreat, you don't perform. You continue your life with the same calm direction you had before. That tells her, without words, I am grounded. I am not shaken by closeness. I don't need to possess what I experience. That level of self-containment creates desire far more than intensity ever could. A woman's body remembers how you made her feel long after the hug ends. If she felt calm, seen, and unpressured, her system associates you with peace. And peace is addictive in a world full of emotional noise. That's why she'll think about you when she's alone. That's why her guard lowers over time. Not all at once, but gradually, naturally. But if she felt even a hint of expectation, urgency, or emotional hunger, her system marks you as work. And attraction doesn't grow where effort is demanded too early. This is the difference between men who create lasting pull and men who create short-lived sparks. Sparks burn hot and die fast. Presence warms slowly and